Thank you very much. And as a proof, I have a living proof here. This is Ronia. Ronia started early because she started in my belly, yeah, from the very, very beginning. But we will go through it. How does it, the whole structure it will be? For 15 minutes, we will have a short presentation, which will just be food for thoughts. And then I will invite you to be more maybe in a circle, and we will brainstorm together how, as the organizers and designers, we can support parents. So it's not only about the kids. Actually, my main concern on this presentation would be parents. But let's start with, yeah, there is a LARP, and then, oh, I'm pregnant, oh, are you kidding me? How are we gonna now LARP and do stuff? So is it possible? And if it's possible, in what way we can do it more smoothly? The weird picture is Wiki Commons. You can go there, and I love it. You know, it's open source, and I don't know really why they're having these masks. But LARP is a natural place for kids. So about this, we are not going to talk much because this is obvious. Kids are born LARPers, and we know it. From role-playing, costumes, or make-believe games, this is from a very start. So it's obvious that they would feel amazing in a friendly kid area for LARPing. But what about parents? Like, if they want to be players, if they want also to have fun, is it in the way either the kids are gonna have fun on a LARP and parents only are babysitting, or the other way around? Are the parents having fun and babies are just crawling somewhere and people are stepping over them? So this is the question. In this way. We are not going to focus on kids. And also why. Because in many different LARP circles, it is said that LARP is an adult entertainment. This is our place to escape. This is our place to have fun, to get out of these responsibilities, to have some playground for adults, actually. Those quotes are from LARP Heaven. And as you can see, there are many, many people. I went through many, many, many comments on kids on LARPs, and kids without parents on LARPs, kids with parents on LARPs. And I've been reading all these things, and you can see also the difference between American players, European players, as usual, for everything like that. But things which actually caught my attention, and they are repeating all the time through all the comments, and there are many, many of them, are that showing to this, that I personally go to LARP to get away from everyday responsibilities, like watching my mouth around kids, dealing with the special requirements of seeing to kids. As a non-kid having or kid enjoying, I can take them in a small doses person. I obviously like the option of 18 plus. And this is a fair thing, and we also should remember this. Another voice is that, oh, taking a toddler is a selfish and irresponsible. That depends what LARP and in what setting. So this is also what we can discuss about, like on what LARPs and what setting is it responsible, and in what setting and what LARPs it is actually irresponsible. And another one, which I really love, I generally have no interest in LARP with kids. For me, it just takes me out of the game. Are they combative? If so, can I yell at them for screwing up the line like anyone else? Can I execute them for crimes? Yeah, we would love to. For example, on some LARPs, if they are screwing up. So that's a fair questions, and obviously we need to take, as designers, as organizers, into consideration that what kind of LARP do we offer? And who are our target group? Is it possible to please everybody? And if so, in what way? Do we divide our LARP into zones? Do we restrict the content that, yeah, you shouldn't execute a kid, or yeah, why not, go on? So this is a real thing to think about that we shouldn't forget. So there is a lot of no, 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 and later in the discussion we can even dig deeper into it. But there is also yes, 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 yes. And this is also a strong point. I personally love this quote because this is a quote which I found on a LARP Heaven from one of the founders of Portal. In my opinion, children can contribute to the fantasy game in incredible ways. The mere presence of small children and parents taking care of them makes it all feel more realistic and like a real place. Kids too young to fight can still practice with each other, maybe carry some water or be shield bearers, making themselves very helpful at LARPs. And I totally agree with this, that for certain LARPs, especially fantasy-based, especially if you have a town or a village, it really makes it more real. Like, okay, if it's post-apocalyptic, maybe no children at all because all die out or something. But in a fantasy village, no children? Come on, there should be 12 running around because they were producing them like rabbits. So I totally feel this. Another thing is, it promotes a sense of community. And that's true, because when you see them, you help them, you interact with them, you feel more like a big family. That in your faction, for example, there are kids, and they are your kids as well, you know, they are from your faction and not from the other, you kick the other one. But from your factions, they are yours. Another one, I've seen some babies written into plots, and passed at MacGuffins stolen by fairies. It happens. Yeah, it happens, actually. I left a child in the orc room and it disappeared. When there was a fairy. There are fairies around, so watch out. And this is marvelous idea. And this is actually what a LARP designer and organizer I want to implement, that the next year for a Gimle LARP in Sweden, which I'm co-organizing, and I'm thinking about somehow sneaking out baby Ronia into the plot. What, if it's a little goblin, or maybe an oracle, or maybe an empress, or maybe, I don't know, coming out from a portal, a spirit, whatever. Yeah, I will see that maybe somehow she can actually not destroy, but enhance the player experience. Yeah? So also it can be, in The Witcher you can have, if you have The Witcher setting, the surprise law. Yeah? By the law of surprise, I claim that child. And then that is the new Witcher. Yeah. Another example from another LARP Heaven participant. At one game, we used the kid as a hostage in an orphanage. Yeah, why not? 5 floors for the heroes to go through to try and rescue them. 1 kid on each floor. And they only managed to keep 1 kid alive. Being a bandit, good times. So, yeah, we can use them in a creative way, that they give some kind of a reality to our play. So, yeah, I'm now looking at it more from a perspective of a player, designer, and the parent, like what kids can give us and not what they can get from a LARP, because this is obvious. That would be another talk that, oh, they learn so many competences, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's obvious. But now I'm thinking more like, yeah, what I can get from it. So here it is. And you as a LARP players, organizer, think how to use them. There was one question on a LARP Heaven that, in our LARP we want to use the kids as a hobbit faction. That the whole bunch of them, they will be hobbits, and they will add some more to the game. So why not? Maybe like that. And this is Portalians. Do you know who's that? One of the Portal founders. I will leave it to sing. Maybe later somebody will come up. No, 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 the parents, the parents. Yes, yes, Ivan Zalac. Yes. Yes, yeah, and my favorite quote was actually from him about saying about contribution. He's a stronghold on all these forums, saying like what kind of benefits we can get. Yeah, they are awesome, and you can get more on their website www.crolarper.com. So you can go to that site, and they know a lot about family kind of LARPing, so you can find him and talk. But when we are already on this topic, obviously there are certain types of LARPs which are much easier to sneak children. So all these kinds with big site, few days, more festive style, with a village like Drachenfest or Conquest of Mythodea. Or Bicoline in Canada, or Empire in UK. They have a whole programs for kids. And they are actually adding up to the whole lore and plot. There are kids' battles, and people just come and enjoy looking at them because they are ridiculously cute or funny. There's Gimle, where you can see children from the babies which are carried by their parents through toddlers to preteens and so on. So you will find lots of kids around. Nerolarp in the US or Sovereign Scrolls. About the Mythodea and like my hero, Ruf, who last year came to visit us on a portal in Krakow with Corwin. She is organizing this huge LARP, and they have this kids town from 6 to 15 years old, 3 days, and if you pay 70 euro, then you just dump them there and you go and play, and they have meals, they have all the art and crafts workshops, and they are also included in some storylines with the fights, like kids battles and the monsters coming and all of this. I really hope that one day Ronia will join. So it is like a daycare from 11 a.m. to 5, and then you as a player can enjoy. So, and then when you want, you can take them. When you want to go to battle or something, you just leave them. Marvelous idea. But, yeah, it costs, but it's a fair price, and I think this is a good thing. Yeah, so we see, yeah, it's quite easy in this setting of fantasy, medieval, or festive to include kids. But what about LARPs, chamber LARPs, black box LARPs, pervasive, or blockbusters? Some people say that they take babysitters on the side, that there is a babysitter in another room, and so I don't know. I don't have an answer. Maybe in the discussion we will talk about it, but is it possible? Like, if so, then what? With a baby, with a toddler, with a preteen, with a teen? Which age already they can join, which not? Like with you as a parent to enjoy and not just be a babysitter that you brought them and actually they have fun and you what? Yeah? So about the pervasives, like now when I'm thinking about one of our like the forgotten gods, that I totally could be a god that's like Freya with hanging out with my baby or a toddler, and she can be one of my offsprings. So she can be part of my experience. So I think it is possible in a way, but still again, I just leave it to talk about. And by the way, this is a white death by Runa, which is here. But the main point for me was pregnant with baby or a toddler, LARP or not to LARP. Why this age? Because kids, obviously, it's easy. But when participants, players are pregnant, they have lots of doubts, like, oh, is it safe? Should I, shouldn't not? Oh, with a baby, oh, it will be screaming. Is it okay? Is it not? With a toddler, they don't know the line between reality and play. So obviously these parts are more difficult for all sides. That if many organizers, they say, okay, if they can be in a role, they are welcome. But if they are not really. So if you are a LARPer parent and have a child until, I don't know, 13, then you shouldn't attend any LARP? That's the question. So starting with the pregnancy, why I would recommend it. It helps exploring the limits.
We will go to the King's group.
Sure.
Find us later.
No problem. This is also a good, juggling with a baby. Yeah. So, exploring the limits. Role-playing and LARP, it helps us to see like what kind of emotion we can take, but in a safe space. So when pregnancy, when you are in a very new role, and this is something like you try to keep a normal life, but not really. So this really helps exploring new identity. That's why I would totally recommend. This is a 3 months pregnant, and we had a music LARP. We were dancing, singing, and so on, and Ronia was still small, but I hoped she enjoyed all the hopping and dancing. And that's how she started. Not actually, she started when she was 2 months in a belly. It was Familia Bonifacio in Croatia. And I got the card that I'm a pregnant lady as a character, but I haven't told anybody about it before. So yeah, that goes to the triggers as well.
Which one?
1 year ago in Croatia, in April. Familia Bonifacio.
Which character?
Donna, there was a son with his wife, and they were thinking about taking over where the dad was dead.
Oh.
What is her name?
Marcella.
Marcella, yes, I was Marcella, and I got the... Yeah, exactly. So this is the thing, and I'm hiding that I'm pregnant, and then I getting the character card that I'm pregnant, and then everybody can kill my baby in character, but then I'm freaking out as a person and so on. But still worth it. Again, what can add you the playing while pregnant? A big community support and the feeling of belonging. 4 months pregnant, organizers and the player, and that was the time of my life, going through the nights, through the forest, fighting with orcs. And my doctor said that, yeah, you can fight, but only with magic. So, the far away shockwaves, but not the combat. So it is possible, in a way, if you want it. And it can give you lots of energy. But again, from that point, then I was thinking, as an organizer, I need to think what to do to make pregnant players safe. That in the beginning, they go out and say, hello, fellow players, please don't attack me or touch me because I'm pregnant. But not everybody wants to go coming out with this. So then we need to think about some other solution that they wouldn't be touched in any way, but they are not forced to say that they are pregnant. For example, with the bands or something. Again, we can talk about it. Oh. And then the worst part ever is the postpartum, where you don't feel like a human being anymore for a moment because the whole world is different. And then you think like LARP really after giving birth, like there is a life after giving birth, really? And then, apparently there is. And the LARP is one thing which can help you get over, like with this, to get back on track. And that was also my pregnancy school saying, like, you need to go out and do something without the baby. So I also would recommend that this is a good thing. Like I was April, it's barely visible. This is a Once Upon December chamber LARP, where that was like a Fey court and different months coming to the Lord December about stealing humans, blah, blah, blah. But again, it was very good, even if in between I needed to pump the breastfeeding milk and so on, and even it was hard thinking about the baby. This is therapeutic almost. So totally recommended. And then 2 months postpartum, picking up new roles. Hey, now I'm a mother. Those two were my children, and I was trying obviously to find the good marriages for them. But then I felt considered, haha, I am a mama in life, and haha, I am a mama in LARP. And before I was taking a different roles, like, yeah, I'm a lady in distress, or yeah, I'm a powerful witch, or whatever. But now, also trying to take this like mama role in LARP, it was also really good. And also the organizers of the LARP were really supportive. Like they gave me an org room again for the pumping milk, because every 3 hours you need to go out. So this is not that easy, but still it's worth it so much to go out and to adjust to a new role, and LARP is really helpful in this. So those are the questions, like why pregnant and baby category is important, because this is one of the biggest changes in your life, because this is where you are reframing, redefining many aims, many goals in your life, and then passion or LARP goes very, like everything what is additional feels like a luxury, and you think, no, maybe I shouldn't, I should focus on the baby. No, like, go on and include it somehow to stay yourself, or even better, to expand yourself, because you are expanding. So not to, that's why for me this category is really important, and how helpful it can be. Then what are the benefits? We were going through it, but we can discuss more. What are the limitations? Hundreds. From a health, mental health, physical health, community biases, lots of things. What now as an organizer I would take into consideration. One of these, for example, these triggers, like, was it worth it not to tell people? Because later, what should I do? Another example, on a LARP Alchemy, we had one scene from a LARP D8. And the scene was that it's a post-apocalyptic time, and there is a character who is giving birth, and other people are coming and trying to help her. And the baby can die, or it can survive, depends on the players. So a big trigger warning for me when I am pregnant, and I'm thinking, no, it's not good for me to play a character who can lose a baby in LARP. It's just too much mentally. So that's also important to disclaim things, what includes in the character or what includes in the game, that some players might take it not that well. What kind of regulation can be implemented to make LARPs more inclusive for pregnant and baby parents? Some color bands, yellow, red, whatever, like, oh, I'm untouchable, and that might be because of many different things. It doesn't have to stay, yeah, I'm pregnant. It can be, I'm vulnerable in any other way. Or some kind of a calibration signs, yeah, like, oh, let's escalate, let's de-escalate, or back off, or I'm going out of the scene, so any kind of that gives me control over it. Disclaimers, obviously, at the beginning. At the Flowerton, there was also a lady saying, like, coming out and saying, please, when you will be dancing with me, don't squeeze me. There's a belly inside. And then everybody was, okay, but which one was that one I shouldn't squeeze? So yeah, that's why maybe the bands or something like that. And how, as organizers, we can support parents. A nice quote which I liked was that some lady said that the LARP I'm in found some neat ways to include me and my toddler. I was an NPC and she was like a little wife. She helped me throw spells. I just pulled her along in a little wagon. In Gimlet, there was a very similar situation like that. They were pulling their kids, and the toddlers or babies, or they were having them carrying all around, and they were part of the plot. So there are ways of including them, but just to be an addition of a parent, so the parent can play. But maybe including kids in the plot, that they can add to the game, not take from it. Encouraging for character creation, playing close to home. And why I'm saying this, it's because when toddlers, they don't see the difference between mama in character and in LARP. It would be very hard to tell them, okay, now you are my little servant and you need to call me a lady something, but they are 3 years old and they just know how to call her mama. So that's why playing close to home might be better for immersion and for everything that, yeah, you can just include her in a character building and everything, but as this. Creating safe zones. So not just the kid towns, kid zones, but safe zones like a village. Or even in post-apocalyptic town, a place where the babies, toddlers, pregnant, you know, like in the real medieval times, like, yeah, there is a village full of vulnerable people, so let's keep it like that, and maybe the orcs can somehow smartly omit it. No combat for less than 13, 14, 16, depend on the LARP. Color bands, safety and calibration, those are things which we are using, which comes to my mind, but I'm very, very open for other things and how to make, encourage pregnant players and parents to enjoy the LARPs, to have a meaningful play with kids, and still have fun. So thank you. Now let's talk. And Buchurt Mama for encouragement. Buchurt is not a LARP, but a medieval fighting kind, and she's a big fighter. You could see it so in between. So it's pretty doable. And now I would like to thank you and invite for the rest of the moment for a discussion how we can support those players. Thank you.